Halo, it's Jang here with the Mega Construx Halo Series 9 Heroes figures. These are sold individually, independently, one at a time, but you can see exactly what you get the way that they are packaged. Let's go ahead and go through these one by one. The Soldier is one of the relatively generic and lower value ones in this series, not being a named character. They have the dog face variant that's used for the livery on this one, and he comes with the Beam Rifle Alpha, which looks pretty nice, pretty nicely printed. Got some nice gradation on there, some nice fine lines that are printed up very well. Most of the printing or the paint applications on the figure are good. There are some small gaps where some air got in there, but most of it is applied as intended, it appears. And you even get the paint applications around the back, which is very nice to see. Not as necessary, but I appreciate the attention to detail. And of course, the visor there has the black surround, which is very important. So this, though it is a generic character, or non-character, just a general figure, I think still looks pretty good. The War Master here has the Scipio or Scipio scheme, variant, which is not done completely. And this one also has more gapping in the paint application. Just the production is not quite as good with this one. They weren't able to get the stamp down in there quite as far as it should have gone, especially on the chest and on the sides of the legs. It's just not complete. They got little individual triangles there, which is just a little bit odd to me. I think the visor section of that face still, or the helmet, still needs to be made a little bit larger as well. When you look at it in person, I think the face section of it, that kind of skull look, is just a little bit too small. I don't recognize this DMR. It looks like it has an alligator on it, and I haven't played Halo in quite a while. It's been months, but I tried to look this up and I don't see it. I haven't found it. So if anybody knows what that is, first check the pinned comment to see if someone else has already answered. But if it has not been answered, I would very much like to hear just what that is, because like I said, it doesn't look familiar to me. I do not recognize it, but it's interesting, and it looks like it's produced pretty decently well. You do get paint applications around the back of this one again, which is good. The helmet is not perfect. A little bit of bleed around the spray, but it's not too bad. All right, that's that one. Let's move on. ODST Graves is an interesting one to include because this is from Fireteam Raven, the physical arcade game experience. And I personally have not played that one yet. I do have a Dave & Buster's somewhat close-ish to me, within driving range. It's at least a half a day trip to get there, but I haven't played it yet. I hope to at some point. But this is a pretty well done figure, at the very least, for just the ODST fans out there. I think that more people will get this because it's an ODST and it's a different variant, and it's a pretty well produced one, than will get it because of Fireteam Raven. I think the figure itself is fine. It's interesting, the high level of metallic flake that they put in there. I think you're seeing it a little bit more on camera than you can see it in person, just because you have so much detail that you're seeing right now. It's a little bit more plain looking in, I think to human eyes, to normal human eyes at a normal distance, which I think is actually a good thing. So yeah, I'm happy with this one. I think you could have used a little bit more contrast. Could have gone a little bit more dark with some of the grays, but it's pretty proper. It's pretty well done. And of course, you get the paint application on the assault rifle there as well. George! Hey! If there's anyone watching this video who dislikes George, please leave. I don't want you polluting my video space with your bad taste. George was awesome. And this figure is pretty good. We've gotten an official George before, and the new one makes the old one, well, the previous one, look pretty dang toyish. Pretty dang toyish. Almost as if this previous version was a prototype or something. Because you go back to the unofficial George that they did years ago, and that was more serious. And the new one has a very similar color for the main armor and has a similar level of detail. overall. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. They took the care and premium finish, I'd say, of the first not George, the unofficial one, and then applied it to the modern armor system, which just looks great. And we also get the paint application on his weapon there, which is very nice to see. The only thing that's annoying about George is that every time I bring him up in any video, even though very, very clearly in the game his name is pronounced George, I always get the, actually, Jang, it's pronounced Jorge. Everybody knows that. So, there we go. Spartan Jorge 05 Do. Hey, Sessa Refumi, or Refumi, or however you choose to pronounce it, it's all good. We know who we're talking about here. It has taken Mega long enough to do one of these. Halo 2 Ranger Elite, and it's the officially licensed, proper main character version, which is great. Much needed. I have one problem here, though. Can you guess what it is? One major problem with this figure. It's the skin tone. Why is the skin tone so light? I've actually been okay with that skin tone many times that they've used it in the past on other characters. I've probably been more forgiving of it than most people are, but in this case here, nah, this does not work. He had dark skin, and yeah, much darker than this. I think if they had just kept the color of the undersuit and used that for the skin tone, it would have been fine. You know, a smaller issue that I have here, a more slight issue, is the fact that there's no paint application for the eyes. That's unfortunate. You can see that it is molded in there, this very kind of flimsy piece that's used as headgear. You know, it has the eyes molded in there, but if you want definition in there, you're going to need to add it yourself. I completely understand that it's ridiculously difficult to do that in a high production environment. You know, it most likely has to be done by hand no matter what. But that was a little bit of a miss, but at least we have the basis here. We have the foundation. The thruster units, are they repulsors? What are they? The purple things on the back. Those jets? I don't know. Repulsors probably, right? That's a separate piece that inserts underneath the armor and has a hole in it so you can still fit a bar through there, so you can get this guy to be up in the air if you want. Yeah, no paint application on the plasma rifles there, but that's okay. Yeah, it's fine. Very good figure to be able to get finally, though. And because they have the molds for this, I'm sure this means that they're going to make more just generic, unnamed Halo 2 Rangers, which is great. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to that for years. And then I saved my vote for best for last. You can definitely disagree with my choice there for best, but it's Captain Keyes with the flood biomass surrounding him and enveloping him. And let me tell you, this flood stuff is some creepy feeling stuff. It's super soft yet rubbery. It's like a very low density silicone or something. I don't think I've ever had any interaction with material like that on toys or models in the past. It's a really weird feeling, but it's absolutely appropriate, and it carries just a little bit of light. Let's just a little bit of light into it. Not too much, not so much that it looks too fake like latex or anything, but yeah, it's just some weird stuff, and obviously you can take that off. Comes with the Magnum there with the paint application on it. Very bittersweet, what you can use that for. But you can also take that flood garbage off and just celebrate the life of Captain Keyes. And look at the print on that torso. That's fantastic. Very, very nice. I mean, they actually have replicated, you know, he even has his name badges you can read if you look really, really closely. It's actually that clear. And he's got all the rank marks on there, commendations, everything. It's all there. And the face is done pretty well. It's a nice sculpt, and you have some white of the eyes, and you also have the drilled in holes for the iris and I almost said pixel pupil for each, which I think is a respectable compromise for that. Yeah, I just think it's a very good figure, and I'm personally happy to be able to add it to my own collection of named human characters. And that's it for this series. Anybody out there getting hyped for Halo Infinite? I was not falling victim to the hype at all until probably just the past week or so. Some of the stuff that they've been talking about sounds pretty good. I'm really looking forward to getting back into the Halo world more strongly again. It's been a while. I'm basically on kind of dabble status right now with Halo 5. I go into my favorite Warzone firefight from time to time, but don't take it too seriously. But I'm looking forward to it coming back, and hopefully Mega will be able to rise to the challenge and also make some more proper builds, not just these figures for the new game. We shall see. Take care.